Ladies and gentlemen, this is the day that the Lord has made. We're going to rejoice and be glad in it. We already rejoicing and we're glad in it. And I'm excited about today's show. For those of you that are coming on, good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. Welcome to the Ramon Preston Show. For those of you that are coming on, a few things I want you to know. Number one, you need to hit that like button. Number two, you need to hit that share button. Number three, tell lolly dolly everybody that the Ramon Preston Show is on. And once you've done all that, number four, I want you to drop the name of the city you're watching us from today in the comments. Do I need to go over those steps again? Let me do it one more time. Number one, hit the like button. Number two, hit the share button. Number three, tell lolly dolly everybody. Prophet Ramon and the Ramon Preston Show is live on this beautiful Thursday. And number four, drop the name of the city in the comments. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so excited. Welcome to the Ramon Preston Show. If you don't know, now you know. I am your host, Ramon Preston, and every Monday through Friday, guess what we do? We come to you live, bringing you information and sharing with you the strategies and the tactics and giving you tools and resources to help you properly start, structure, and scale your businesses, your ministries, your income streams, and even your wealth building dreams. So wherever you are on the broad spectrum of economics, if there is something that you intend to do with your finances, with your credit, with debt, with increasing your income, with transitioning from a job into business, from building your business to investing, whatever it is, wherever you are on this broad spectrum or scope of economics, this show provides information to help you properly start those things, structure those things, and scale those things to the next level. And so I am very, very, very appreciative to all of you that continue to watch the show every Monday through Friday, and those of you that continue to support by engaging, giving us feedback, asking questions, sending us DMs and inboxes and messages. And some of you even call in during the show. Remember, during the show, you can call in, and that number is 678-922-1963, extension 1. 678-922-1963, extension number 1. If or when you dial that number, guess what's going to happen? It's going to reroute directly to my phone while we're on the live, and I'll be able to answer your call while we're live, and I will give you the answer to whatever your question is. Otherwise, you can just drop your questions in the comments. You can drop comments in the comments. You can give me feedback in the comments. And of course, you can always just randomly and sporadically hit the like button, the share button, tag some family members and friends, business colleagues, associates. Like, this is not something that you should look at as a competition, meaning that if you're a network marketer, if you're a business owner, if you're a minister, if you're a leader, and you got people that's in your ecosystem that need certain principles, that need to learn certain practices that I am sharing with you, feel free to bring them on and give them an opportunity to hear what we're talking about so that they can change and transform their economic life. Because our goal here is to help you start, structure, and scale your businesses, ministries, income streams, and wealth building dreams. That's what our goal is. And guess what? Everything that I share with you on this show, we live it, number one. We live it, okay? Excuse me. And then not only do we live it, but we teach it in our university through our Blueprint Game Plan, which is our economic business and entrepreneurship program. We share it as solutions and strategies and services through our coaching program and our consulting firm. So everything that we have going on in our business, we condense it down into bite-sized morsels through the Ramon Preston Show to give you not just value and data and information, but to give you a glimpse of the big world that we're building, helping a lot of people. I don't know people. I don't know people that want to be in business, that want to be financially free, that want to be millionaires, that want to be ballers, that want to just create legacies. I don't know people that want that kind of stuff that's not eager to learn what they need to learn to become what they need to become to get what they want. And so today I'm excited because all week we've been talking about accounting, we've been talking about financial literacy, we've been talking about components of accounting. We talked about the role of accounting. We've had a lot of good discussions this week. And today I want to just take a few minutes to talk about creative tax strategies for entrepreneurs. Creative tax strategies for entrepreneurs. Please do me a favor. Drop the name of the city that you're watching your boy from in the comments. Come on, dog. Come on, sis. Drop the name of the city in the comments. Wherever you're watching us from, if it's a city, if it's a country. Hey, if you with Elon Musk on Mars and it sounds like Jeff Bezos trying to go somewhere out of orbit, if you with one of them hanging out, tell the Martians I say what up, and please let me know where you at. I want to give a shout out to all of you. So put your city in the comments, whatever city you're watching us from. We good? You got that locked in?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, thank you. So I want you to put the name of the city in the comments that you're watching us from. And today I'm going to take a few minutes to talk to you about some creative tax strategies for entrepreneurs. If you listen to financial experts enough, if you listen to even some of the internet gurus and moguls and people that are online and social media enough that talk about finances and money, at some point you're probably going to hear them talk about taxes. They're going to talk about taxes from the perspective, in most cases, that it is, if not the biggest, one of the biggest bills and one of the biggest expenses, if not the biggest expense that most people have. Now, if you've never heard that, well, this is new information for you. Taxes are by far one of the biggest expenses that we all have. And for most people, no matter where they are in their tax bracket, for most people, it is the biggest expense that they have. Here's the thing. You could be making $10 an hour. You could be making $30,000 a year. You could be making $100,000 a year. You could be making $1 million a year. All of those income brackets, all of those salary brackets, they all have one thing in common, and that is a tax liability or a responsibility to pay taxes. Here's the thing. Whoever pays the most taxes is not going to depend on what tax bracket or what salary bracket they fall in. Whoever pays the most taxes is really dependent upon the information that they know. So a lot of times you'll see somebody that make $10 an hour and it's like they getting beat across the head. I mean, they just getting busted up paying taxes. You see somebody that make $100,000 a year, $200,000 a year, and they getting busted up paying taxes. Then you see somebody that make $10 million a year and they ain't paying no taxes. And you like, how can somebody who make $10 million a year pay more taxes than somebody that make $10 an hour? It's all about information. It's all about strategies. It's all about you exposing yourself to the right data, to the right information that will give you the strategies you need so that you're able to implement them on a $10 an hour level. You're able to implement them on a $100,000 a year level, $30,000 a year level, $400,000 a year level, $10 million a year level. That's one of the biggest difference. So it's like Everybody who makes money has the same common denominator, that they're going to be responsible to pay taxes, but everybody don't pay the same taxes. And it comes down to creative tax strategies that these individuals in these tax brackets and in these salary brackets or financial categories, what type of strategies that they implement. And them strategies are all going to be based on information. So for those of you that might not know about creative tax strategies, I'm going to share with you a few creative tax strategies today, okay? I'm going to share a few with you. I'm going to give you some information that's really going to help you. If I rush through it or it just seems like you can't remember it all, here's what I want you to keep in mind. Number one, in this broadcast, you will see in the description information about a special that I'm offering. And this special that I'm offering is for $29.99. I'm giving you access to our 5-hour VIP financial workshop that I just hosted Saturday. It is a live virtual workshop that I hosted. Of course, we had about 20 people maybe that was in person, and then we had people that were live streaming. And of course, it's professionally recorded with our equipment. It's not like I'm just sitting in front of a phone teaching. It is professionally recorded, so the audio and the video is very clear. And we're offering not only that workshop, which is about 5 hours of information that I'm giving you about financial literacy, about accounting, about the role of accounting, about balance sheets, cash flow, about the components of accounting, but I'm also teaching in that 5-hour window creative tax strategies. I'm sharing with you information, a little bit of what I'm gonna share with you today. All of that is in that workshop, and I take about 2 hours during that workshop and I show you how to maximize your financial literacy, how to maximize your understanding of accounting, how to maximize these tax strategies through systems like QuickBooks or any accounting system that you use. Because if you learn about financial literacy, if you learn about accounting, if you learn creative tax strategies, how are you going to use them? You're going to use them through systems. You're going to use them through accounting systems, so that when you're balancing your checkbook, when you're balancing your income and expenses as an entrepreneur, you will be able to incorporate into that balance sheet, right? Or into that general ledger, the strategies that you're learning. So if I just breeze past certain things that you know you need more information on, keep that in mind, that after this show ends, you can text the words VIP special. Keep that in mind. You can text the words VIP special. This information will be in the comments. And when you text the words VIP special, what we're going to provide for you through this offer is we're going to provide for you the 5-hour live virtual VIP financial workshop on all this stuff we've been talking about all week and more. 5 hours, right? And then I'm going to also give you a free VIP ticket to our upcoming business VIP workshop next Saturday. What is that? June the 26th. From 12 to 4, we're hosting another live VIP workshop here. It's also going to be virtual and in person. So even if you can't make it in person, you can log in virtually and you can participate in it. And guess what? If you can't make it in person or be on the live, we're going to make sure that you have a link on our secure platform so that you can go back and rewatch both of these workshops to learn about holding companies, to learn about business enterprises, to learn about building divisions in your company, to learn about managing the day-to-day operations of your company, and you're going to learn about finances and accounting and QuickBooks and tax strategies, so that when you build your business, or even if you have a business but you don't have an accounting system, you really don't know where your money is coming in from, where it's going out, you don't have a good grip on that, just those 2 workshops alone gonna change the game for you. I'm telling you, like, everybody that I consult, people that are all in our coaching program, and just people that take our online training program. It could just people I talk to. When I share with them information and strategies just on these two areas of finances, accounting, tax strategies, and then I share with them information and strategies on the holding company, building out divisions, creating subsidiaries, explaining to them how to run that. Just those two pieces of information alone are game changing. So if you want access to both of those workshops, it's just like I'm just giving it away. Both of these workshops are $250 workshops. I had a 65% off discount, which means we took them down to $69. And just this week, maybe it's because it's Father's Day week, I don't know. I just felt some kind of way. I was like, you know what? I'm finna do something real stupid. I'm gonna just give it away. $29.99. I'm gonna give them 5 hours of training on finances and accounting and tax strategies and QuickBooks. And then I'm gonna just add to that a free VIP ticket to the in-person or virtual workshop that we're going to be hosting next Saturday. You can't beat it with a bat. I mean, you give away $29.99, and this information, I guarantee, just the one workshop on finances, it will save you thousands of dollars if you implement those strategies. So that's going to be my gift to you if you want to take it up. But today, right here, right now, I'm going to talk about some creative tax strategies for entrepreneurs. Now, here's some things I want to establish. Since the tax system is really based on imposing taxes on individuals, it's based on imposing taxes on corporations, trusts, and even estates. Like everybody gets taxed, okay? Even though everybody doesn't pay those certain taxes, but everybody has a responsibility. Everybody has those taxes imposed on them, whether they're individuals, corporations, whether they're trusts or estates. But since the tax system is based on imposing taxes on everyone, here is what's important. It is financially prudent for you as an entrepreneur to develop creative strategies that will actually assist you in minimizing your tax liability while helping you to maximize your company's profitability, if that makes sense. So while you're minimizing your business's tax liability, you want to be able to simultaneously maximize your company's profitability. See, this is how entrepreneurs get further. This is how businesses grow, because you don't want to just have tax strategies that you implement in your business to lower your liability, but not have certain strategies to simultaneously maximize your profitability. Did you catch that? So you're minimizing liability while maximizing profitability, and guess what happens? Your business, kaboom, takes off. Your opportunities, kaboom, open up. And that's what we got to start doing, especially those of you that are entrepreneurs. And trust me, and I want you to hear me on this, because I don't really, I'm just not that kind of person to bash people and just throw my opinions around. But what I want to say is, for those of you that are learning the business game, whether you are in network marketers, independent contractors, whether you're just freelancers or you're working a job and you're trying to do a side hustle, you are working backwards from a tax perspective if you don't understand the role that it plays in your overall finances, okay? So that means you could be working a W-2 job and you could be hustling on the side, 1 or 2 or 3 job businesses, and you're still not making enough money. Or you might be making money, you're just not keeping money. And it may be because you don't know the proper way to, number one, minimize your tax liability, and number two, maximize your business profitability. And see, that's like one of the key points and principles that I teach our coaching clients in our 1-year business coaching program. A lot of the people that are in our business coaching program, they don't understand business like I do. They don't understand finances like I do. They don't have a lot of information on certain creative strategies. So that means some of them could be making money, even if they're making money on their job. but their businesses are suffering, meaning that they're not maximizing profitability in their business, not because they ain't got enough to work with. It's just because they need certain strategies incorporated into their business and into their jobs, wherever they get money in, so that they can start decreasing, minimizing those liabilities and start increasing, maximizing profitability. And like I have seen one of our greatest testimonies of one of our coaching clients is a testimony that one of our coaching clients has like 2 or 3 organizations, 2 or 3 nonprofit and for-profit organizations. They also have a job that they work on. They're in their career, right? They took one creative tax strategy that I gave them in a coaching session, right? They implemented it, but this creative strategy was just in reference to their job. It wasn't even about their businesses and their organizations. They went and implemented it, and by the next time we saw them in one of our masterminds, they told us that they had recaptured or realized in their future pay stubs, in their take-home pay, what was about $800. So every pay period, they realized the extra $400 from one creative strategy. So think about that. So prior to talking to me and connecting with us, they were leaving like $800 on the table every month. $800. That's almost $10,000 a year. What can you do with an extra $10,000 a year? And we've got stories of people who use this same strategy on their jobs and realized $300 a month, $600 a month, $200 a month, $80 a month, whatever it is. If you're implementing these strategies, all of a sudden you start gathering information, you start implementing these strategies, and now you start getting extra money coming in. Now you're able to do what you want to do because you can minimize tax liabilities while simultaneously maximizing business profitability. Now, in order for these creative tax strategies to be effective, okay, you must view these tax strategies through the lens of all 3 financial categories for tax purposes, okay? So you can get all this information, you can hear all these strategies. Oh, I learned this and I got it, I understand it. But you've got to be able to view these strategies through the 3 financial categories for tax purposes. This is where a lot of people get confused at. This is where a lot of people get confused at. Because when I say financial categories for tax purposes, a lot of people translate that into types of income or streams of income. They try to put labels on it. No, I'm referring to financial categories for tax purposes. Let me kind of simplify it if you're getting confused with the bougie lingo. Let me simplify it for you. A lot of entrepreneurs, they'll say, oh, I'm making money over here and this is money that's coming in that is active money. This is passive money. They don't understand financial categories for tax purposes. They think all the money that they're making is going to be viewed for tax purposes the same way they view it because of what their financial principles or their financial practices are. That's not necessarily true. Like you can have one person tell you, oh, I'm making passive income. Well, is that passive income considered passive income for tax purposes? Or is it considered passive income for sales purposes? In other words, somebody's just selling you a product or a service and they done convince you that, oh, if you get into this, this is going to be passive income for you. But for tax purposes, that income is not going to be categorized as passive income. You get what I mean? So in order for you to utilize these strategies, you have to see these strategies through the lens of financial categories for tax purposes. So I want to give you 3 financial categories for tax purposes, okay? Meaning that when you make this type of money, it's going to be viewed as a certain type of money for tax purposes. All right, I'm gonna give you all three right now. 3 financial categories for tax purposes. You can't say you don't know. You can't say Prophet Ramon didn't give it to you for free on the show, even if you don't purchase anything from me. The first income category for tax purposes is, write it down, put it in the comments, labor income. Labor income. Write it down. If you got any questions, feel free to reach out to me and let me know. The second financial category for tax purposes is active income. Active income. And then the third financial category for tax purposes is passive income. Passive income. Those are the 3 financial categories for tax purposes. This is very important because if you're going to implement tax strategies, if you're going to utilize tax deductions, if you're going to maximize your business profitability while minimizing your tax liability for your business, you got to see the money that's coming into your hands through the lens of these tax categories. Because I know a lot of entrepreneurs who get into the next year and they thought the year before that all that money they made was passive income, because they didn't work for it or they didn't do this and that and the other for it. But for tax purposes, all that money was considered income that was going to be taxed on a certain level, and they didn't know that. And because they didn't know that, guess what happened? Boom, they got bust right across the head. If you got any questions so far, drop the questions in the comments or dial 678-922-1963. 678-922-1963, and I would be more than happy to answer whatever the question is that you have. So you want to get some strategies to minimize your tax liability, don't you? You just sick of it. You want to get some strategies to maximize your network marketing profitability, your side hustle profitability, your independent contracting profitability as a real estate agent, as an insurance agent, as a landscaper, as a barber, whatever it is that you're doing. You want to maximize your profitability. Well, in order for you to properly and successfully minimize those liabilities and maximize profitability, what do you have to do? You have to look at the strategies you're learning and using through the lens of 3 financial categories for tax purposes: labor income category, active income category, passive income category. So now that I've given them to you, let me explain to you what each one is. The labor income category, it reflects W-2 employees who work on a job. So if you work on a job and you are a W-2 employee, the income that you're making for tax purposes is actually considered labor income. All right? Now, the reason why you need to know this, because this is the highest taxed category that typically pays, like conservatively, over 30% in overall taxes. So let's just say conservatively, most W-2 employees in the labor income category, let's just say conservatively that they pay 30% in taxes. Then that would kind of imply 30% of their income they don't even see. So they're actually living off of 70% of their income. So if you attach their time to their income, right? Yeah. Let's attach time to income just in case y'all miss my memo. So if as a W-2 employee you're paying about 30% in taxes, that means a third of your income is going to taxes. Now, if you attach your time to that 100% of income you make, that means 100% of your time you have to put in to make 100% of that check, right? Well, 30% of that check is going to what? What is 30% of that check going to? Taxes. Well, that means 30% of your time you're working to give up 30% of your income. This is why most financial experts suggest that most W-2 employees who have no education in finances, who don't understand financial literacy, who never earn enough money because they don't learn enough about money, most of these, this is what experts suggest, most of these W-2 employees, they give up a third of their year. In a 12-month calendar year, they give a third of their year up to taxes. So if 30% of my income is going to taxes, and 30% of my time it took for me to work for that income is going away with my taxes, that means I gave up a third of my time working for taxes. And here's what they say. If you look at a calendar from January to December, the first third of the year, that's January, February, March, and April, that would be the first third. That's going away just to pay taxes, a third of your time. Then you got April, May, June, July. The second third of your year is going away to pay banks, because most of the banks that you get loans from or that you get indebted to as a consumer, they're giving you loans not based on your net. Remember, you're not making 100% of what you earned. You're only making 70. They're going to give you a loan based on your gross. So the banks know you only bringing home 70% of your income, probably less than that. But they're going to give you a loan based on what? Your gross. So if you gross $700 a week, but you only bring home $450, the bank is going to give you a loan on the $700. They're not giving you a loan on the $450. So you're already working a third of your year, the first 4 months, for taxes. You work in the second third of the year, April, May, June, July, for banks, and then August, September, October, what is it? September, October, November, December, you're working the last 4 months of the year, guess what? For big business. So that means you're so depressed after the taxes done beat you across your head the first third of the year. The second third of the year, you just go buy stuff and get in debt with credit cards and houses and cars for the second half of the year. And then the third third of the year, you just going wilding out at the malls because big businesses are getting it. So 100% of most W-2 employees' income is going to taxes, banks, and big business. I think that sounds like most of America. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. This might just be hypothetical for some people. But if you can't show receipts to prove what I'm saying is wrong or inaccurate or just a bunch of blah, 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 then guess what? Maybe some of what I'm saying holds true. So that is the labor income category. Now, I'm not saying quit your job. I'm not saying you shouldn't work. What I'm saying is while you're working on as a matter of fact, I'm going to say stay on your job. Don't leave your job for a business and you ain't got no doggone money. Don't leave your job for a business and you think you gonna pull it off and you ain't got no systems in place. You ain't even got your own self together. How you gonna succeed? And then 8 months from now, you struggling and you like, Lord, I should have just gone, kept that little $10 hour job. You doggone right you should have kept that job until you figured what was most important out, which was your financial literacy. You don't know enough to leave the job. See, if you're honest with yourself, you'll be like, you know what? I don't know enough about money to leave my job. I don't know enough about business to let this job go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to learn as much as I can while I'm on the job. So while I'm on the job, I'm going to minimize my tax liability and maximize my personal financial profitability as well as my business's profitability. Then I'll have some wiggle room to be able to make an educated decision on what I need to do moving forward, not just another hypothetical, hopeful decision that lands you under the bridge somewhere in a city near you. That's not what we want. The second income category is what? Active income. Now, the active income category, listen to this. It reflects 1099 self-employees who don't work on a job, but they actually own a job. That's very, very important. Did you hear what I said? Active income is different than labor income because you're not working on a job because you're not a W-2 employee. You're actually a 1099. So that would be like a real estate agent. That would be an independent contractor, right? That would be self-employees. That would be a network marketer or an affiliate marketer. Those individuals are considered people who fit into the active income category because you get 1099s. If you're a network marketer, don't you get a 1099? The network marketing company you work for every year gives you a what? They don't give you a W-2. They give you a 1099, which means even though in your mind you think you are a business, but you're not legally a business. You're an individual who works as an associate for a company that gets a 1099 for the income that you earn. That's not passive income. It's not going to be treated as passive income when you do your taxes. You're going to be liable for self-employment taxes and other taxes depending on how your financial situation is structured. If you don't get this information, you're going to just keep losing. This is why I get so upset with independent contractors. I really do. And I have to correct a lot of them a lot of times, especially network marketers. And I'm not knocking y'all. What I'm saying is you can't be so bullheaded on what you're learning as a salesperson, selling a product and a service, that you don't learn business. And nobody can't tell you nothing because you like in this warp drive, drinking this Kool-Aid as if what you doing is the next best thing since sliced bread, but you broke because you do not understand financial principles and business principles. And the people who are leading you don't have business systems. They're doing the same thing you doing. And I ain't throwing no shade at y'all now, you independent contractors, even if you're a real estate agent. If you're a real estate agent and a broker is holding your real estate license, that broker is giving you a 1099. And a lot of real estate brokers, they're not going to pay your commissions to a business entity, even if you own a business entity, which means your business entity is going to have a certain income come in, and then you as an independent agent will have certain income coming in, and that's going to be a 1099 attached to that with your Social Security, not your EIN. And you got to be able to understand these nuances, these layers of your financial categories with your income so that you can know how to properly position yourself throughout the year to minimize your tax liabilities and maximize your profitability. If I know I'm making sense because I'm making sense to me. The more I hear myself talk, I'm like, wow, this is so good. It makes sense. So if I'm not making sense to you, if you're not offended, if I'm not like really making you feel bad because I'm talking about you, I really want you to consider either just finding a place with our workshops. Like if you just not bought or sold on joining my coaching program or hiring me and my company as business consultants, you might not be sold on purchasing our online blueprint game plan. Guess what? You might be sold on the $29.99. But I tell you one thing, if you don't spend any money to learn anything, you're still going to lose money. And guess what? There are statistics that have been given just for people who are 1099 employees. Remember, I just said a 1099 employee, they don't work on a job, but they what? They own a job. How do you own a job as a 1099 self-employee? Because if you don't show up, your business don't run. If you don't cut that hair, that you don't get paid. If you don't do them nails, you don't get paid. If you don't do the real estate deal, you don't get paid, right? That's an independent contractor. If you don't sign somebody up, you don't get paid. That's self-employee because you don't necessarily have a business system. You just have a business that you're using yourself as the system to run. But these individuals in this category, the taxes that they pay typically range from 20 to 30%. So most 1099 self-employees, and some of you know I'm telling the truth, they pay just as much taxes as W-2 employees. And a lot of people who leave being a W-2 employee and turn into self-employees, a lot of them end up being taxed more than the W-2 employees. You know why? Because they don't know anything about taxes. They don't know anything about finances. They don't know anything about business. And guess what they end up doing? They end up owing the IRS because they don't know anything about taxes, because they came into being 1099 self-employees still thinking like labor W-2 employees without learning. This is why I'm saying you don't jump from W-2 to 1099 or from W-2 to EIN and you don't learn the game. You're going to owe taxes. You're going to be busted across your head. Like literally, I talk to people on a regular basis. I ain't calling no names because I ain't throwing nobody under the bus, but I've talked to lots and lots of people who ended up owing more taxes than they wanted to, being penalized, getting garnished. You know why? Because when you leave a W-2 job and you become a self-employee and you do not understand that, yes, you're not on a job, but now you own a job, and there's a certain income category that you now fall into, that even though it looks like your tax liability is lower, it can very well be higher because you don't understand financial systems. You don't understand strategies to help minimize that liability. And this is one of the reasons why experts have studies and surveys to show that the average 1099 employee loses about $75 a day. These are studies and surveys. I don't know the type of stuff you learn, but I know the stuff that I'm learning. It has helped me tremendously. There are studies and surveys that have showed independent contractors, network marketers, real estate agents, insurance agents, freelancers, people who are considered self-employed. That means you're doing business as you a DBA, right? Most of these individuals are losing at least $75 a day because they don't understand financial systems and business systems to leverage what they're doing. We got to change that dynamic, especially in our community. I'm a black man. I'm a prophet. I'm a part of the church. I love God. I love his people. I love my community. I love the black community. I'm half white. I love the white community. I look Spanish. I love the Spanish community. I don't know. I eat Thai food. I love Asian communities. I love them all. But at the end of the day, I know I'm a black man living in the United States of America who is very, very, very dedicated to the faith community because I'm a prophet, I'm a man of God, I'm a minister, I'm an apostle. So when I look at the communities that I regularly and literally like predominantly serve, I see an epidemic, a pandemic when it comes to economics. This is one of the reasons why it's like I'm screaming from the mountaintop every day. This is one of the reasons why it comes off as if I'm like clicking and getting mad and upset, but I'm really not. I love people. The people around me know I love them, but they already know I'm gonna be extra because I'm gonna push you. I want to press you. I want to like get you out of that rut so that you can understand you got to do something instead of sitting back watching somebody like me hating, you know, like sucking your teeth, smirking, talking about, child, please, what he talking about today? Something you need to learn. How about that? But for those of you that are ready, you're eager, you're hungry, you're, in the words of my spiritual daughter, you thirsty. You need to lean into this thing and make a decision now. Because guess what? Some of you won't have to regret what happens or doesn't happen this year at the end of the year if you start now. You need to push that reset button today and say, I love God. I love God's people. I love my family. I want a legacy. I got to get myself together. And it ain't enough for you to say, well, I'm getting myself together in the Holy Ghost. Well, you need to get yourself together in the money. You need to get yourself together in business. You need to get yourself together not just in the spirit, but even in the natural. All right? And then the totality of your being, spirit, soul, and body, will be able to produce the change and transformation. I'm preaching right there, ain't it? That you need. Sheesh. Kebaba shata. I felt that in the Holy Ghost right there. Because some of y'all need that. You need somebody to get on your behind and let you know that you coming up with every excuse in the book to stay stuck. You got every excuse in the book. Wow. Well, guess what? You ain't got more excuses than me. I was born in the 70s in a small community in South Florida. As a biracial child to an old pimp who was beating my mama, pimping my mama, using my mama, who was a white woman going with a black man in the 70s. Who, when I was born, gave me to my grandma, an old white German Jewish woman living in a predominantly black community in the late 70s, early 80s, when the crack epidemic was about to just bust America wide open. I was raised below the poverty line. I can recall never seeing a stove in my house, at least to my knowledge, until I was in my teens. That's how poor we was. And the first stove that my grandma bought, she rented from a place called Jetson. It was like a renter center of South Florida. And she rented it so that we could have a stove. She rented my music equipment because I was a little upcoming DJ. She rented our living room set. That's how poor we was. The Catholic Church used to send food around in vans with bags of food every Tuesday. We ate that. I grew up on welfare cheese. I'm talking about the white boxes of cheese and cereal and powdered milk that we would have to go out cross town to the Catholic parish to pick up once a month. I wore clothes from the garage sale and the rummage sale. So, and while both of my parents are crackheads, I became their dope dealer. I became their pusher. I ended up addicted to cocaine myself. I was a street thug, a criminal. I was a hustler, a street runner, just living my life like a vagabond up until the time that I got saved, right shy of turning 21 years old. So I don't care what kind of excuses you have. Oh, and since I've been saved, and since I've been in ministry, and since I've been in entrepreneurship, I've had to leave my family to relocate from South Florida all the way up here. 18 years ago, I left my whole family. I left my 2 kids. I left my mom and my daddy, who since then I had to bury after 30-something years, both of them, of crack addictions. So whatever your excuse is, I just want to explain to you that you're listening to somebody who, through all these little itty-bitty pictures and details that I'm giving you about my life story, I dropped out of school. I don't have a formal education. I, by the grace of God, did get a GED, never been to college, had to self-learn. I am self-taught when it comes to ministry and business and everything that I teach. You can't tell me what God can't do, and you can't tell me what God can't do through someone who's willing to stop making excuses and make it up in their mind that if I don't do it, it ain't gonna get done. He says, now unto him, Paul says it in Ephesians 3:20, now unto him, unto God, who is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all you and I could ask or think. Watch this. He can do all that. God can do exceedingly abundantly above all we could ask or think. But read the last clause of Ephesians 3:20, according to the power that works in you. So what your excuse is now? Well, I ain't got no doggone money. Well, I can't find a job. Child, please. You full of excuses if I'm talking to you. But if I'm not talking to you, lean in. Get off your behind. Learn something. And understand, if I don't do it, it ain't going to get done. Because most of the stuff we want God to do for us, he's going to do through us. Back to my lesson. Whew. I had to get that off my chest.
You feel better now?
Whew, I feel better. Thank you, Holy Ghost. Sheesh. I think I can drink some clear tea on that one.
You take your assistant out for lunch, your mom.
Take you for lunch on that one, huh?
Yeah.
Woo, I had to get that out of my system. So the third income category for tax purposes is the passive income category. The passive income category reflects business owners and investors who own systems and assets. That's the big difference between an independent contractor and a business owner, because business owners own systems. Investors don't necessarily always own or run systems like business owners. Most of them do. But a lot of times they either own systems or they at least own assets. And the assets that they own are still in systems. They're in business systems. They're in financial systems, okay? Now, this is the lowest or non-tax category that typically range from 0 to 10%. So how do labor income W-2 people pay over 30% in taxes, and 1099 self-employees pay at least 20 to 30% in taxes, but then business owners and investors pay 0 to 10%? Oh, that's the white man. They got a system. That's the system that got us all messed up. Well, you might be right. And I'm sure there's a whole lot of systematic racism that's built into a lot of these economic systems. God addressed that in the book of Exodus when Pharaoh had his people bound for over 400 years in slavery. But at the 400 years, God tapped Prophet Moses on the shoulder and said, you know what? I need you to go tell Pharaoh the system it's time to let my people go. And if he don't let my people go, let him know there's going to be some pandemics, plagues that come through the North African continent of Egypt. And when these plagues come through, it's going to shake up the whole nation along with the systems within this nation, but it's going to give my people wiggle room to be freed up, whether that's through a stimulus, whether that's through a PPP, whether that's through an EIDL, whether that's through forgivenesses of loans and debt that they have not been able to break through for generations. Whatever the situation is, Prophet Moses just let them know, I want my people free, and then start telling my people to prepare. Because once I give them the green light, I need them to make a move. And some of you right now listening to me, I'm not even going to go no further because I feel like preaching today. I feel like prophesying to somebody today. I wanted to give you some strategies and some deductions that we commonly use as entrepreneurs and business owners. I ain't going to give you that because some of you just need to connect with us on some level. But I want to really minister to somebody and prophesy to you and let you know that God is up to something huge. He's doing something behind the scenes that we can't quite see. And I just mentioned this to my spiritual daughter, my personal assistant, when we came into the office this morning, that the Lord was showing me in prayer this morning that you're going to have to really train my prophets and my prophetic people in economics, in business, in financial literacy, because a lot of church people and prophets and prophetic people, they have lost their voices. They have lost their platforms. They have been locked in hallways, never been able to get through certain doors. And it's not because they're not anointed. It's not because they're not called. There are people who love God who have been literally ignored by communities, and they have been imprisoned by the lack of resources, by the lack of money. Some of what you're dealing with right now that's keeping you stuck, I'm going to be the first one to tell you, it ain't even demonic. It's economic. You just missed it. Of course, you can trace your economic situation to demonic activity. But when it comes to what's going on in the surface, God done already freed you. So you're not imprisoned by a demon spirit. You might not necessarily be in prison like you were or like we were before by Pharaoh's systemic racial economic undercurrents, because some of it is still there. But there's a little bit of wiggle room that we got, but it's going to require the right data, the right information, getting around the right people. You're listening to somebody who, in no uncertain terms, this was going to be one of the chapters of a book that I was writing, and the chapter was going to be called How I Beat the System. But it was a twist or a play on the words of beating the system, not just the judicial system, but the economic system. In other words, how I got out of poverty, how I left hood figure and entered into 7-figure, 8-figure, 9-figure, one day 10-figure. I had that in my mind for a chapter in one of my books, but some of y'all just got to make a move. God told me to tell you he's sick of it. That's what God told me to tell you. You've been trying to wait for God to tell you something. That's what God told me to tell you. I'm just sick of it. What you mean God's sick of it? He's just sick of you sitting on your behind, not making an effort, thinking that somehow some pie in the sky situation going to happen and there's going to be a manifestation that takes place that changes your life forever. Now unto him who is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all you can ask or think, according to the power that works inside of you. So what I'm doing right now as a prophet, a lot of it is predominantly leaning towards business and finance and economics. I'm coaching people, I'm consulting people, like I'm doing this like most of the time of every day. Where 10 years ago, most of my days probably would have been filled with a little bit of business, but a whole lot of ministry, a whole lot of prophesying, a whole lot of praying. And I'm still doing that, but I'm doing it through a different vehicle. Because God is concerned about the economic condition of his people. Because most of us spiritually, we already good. We got a relationship with God. We already going to heaven. We speak in tongues. We know the Bible back and forth. We know all the biblical stories. We know theology. We know Greek and Hebrew. We can quote scriptures at a drop of a dime. We dream. We have visions. We got it all spiritually. But economically, we are just in a deficit. We are past pandemic mode. And we got to shift that. We got to change that. And I'm telling you where it's going to start. It's going to start with you taking the revelation of what you know God want to do for you and what you know you're supposed to be doing and where you're supposed to be in life, and connect that revelation with intelligence, with information. And then as you get intelligence and information about business, entrepreneurship, financial literacy, wealth building, tax strategies, and all the stuff that I'm talking about, you complement that revelation and intelligence with practice. And you ain't going to be able to put it to practice until you build a muscle. And most of you, even physically, won't be able to build certain muscles until you have a personal trainer. You know that's true. If you had a personal trainer, you'll be fine as all outdoors right now, wouldn't you? Think about it. If you had a personal trainer that came to your house every day, you'd be showing out. You'll start dressing different in about 3 months. If you had a personal trainer for the next 3 months every day, wouldn't you dress different in 3 months? You'd be around here in bikinis. You brothers be around here with swimming trunks, no shirts on. You have old baby oil all on you around here, thinking you just the next best thing since sliced bread. You've been shaved all your hair off your head, your chest, your back, your booty, and everything else. You just around here just showing out. Why would you be doing that? Because a personal trainer held you accountable for the physiological nature of your being. I love y'all. I'm finna go, y'all. We finna drop the mic, Mike. Say what? Hey, if you enjoyed the show today, please give me some feedback in the comments. And don't hate, because I got a clap back game. Don't do me like that. I might clap back. A lot of times I don't even clap back, especially like a lot of the ads that we be running. You know, people come on in, they make their little comments. I just laugh at them. I joke with them. Because I appreciate the time that they had to spend to watch the video that they hating on. I appreciate the time that they had to spend to give a mean, a mean mugging, what is that thing called? Emoji. It's like, okay, hater, but you're behind a typewriter broke. Talking about people who really on social media helping people. I love y'all, appreciate y'all. If you would like to take me up on that offer and you want full access to our financial workshop, 5 hours of training, and our upcoming workshop on how to start and structure a holding company, you better reach out to your boy, because it's going fast and fast and fast. You can join me in person if you like next Saturday, or you can join us live virtual. You need to text VIP special to 404-478-7213. If you just ready to take everything I said and you know what, you like Ramon Preston, listen, I have heard you enough to be convinced that I want a business and financial coach like you in my corner. I want to be financially free. I want to be out of debt. I want my credit right. I want my business booming. I want to start, structure, and scale a real legacy. And I need you to provide the coaching and the consulting for me. Then guess what? You need to text the word coaching to 404-478-7213. We have a 1-year business coaching program, and we're offering a 24-month payment plan to make it easy for you so you ain't got no doggone excuse. 12 months of business coaching provided by me and my company. That 12-month business coaching program is made up of a 52-week schedule, 52 touch points. Every week there is something on the schedule that we're going to be doing with you and for you. Whether it's a one-on-one coaching session, a one-on-one coaching call, a group coaching mastermind, or virtual training assignments, because with our 1-year business coaching program, I'm giving you for free our entire blueprint game plan. So the business and financial program we have on our university platform, we give that to you for free when you join our business coaching program. Otherwise, you would have to go purchase that, and that's a $1,499 1-year program. So I want to give you all that for free. If you join our business coaching program today, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to give you the business blueprint game plan, and I'm going to give you access to our 2 free workshops that we're offering for the discount. So you ain't going to have to buy the workshop. Keep the $29.99. You join our business coaching program, I'll give you the blueprint game plan. You'll get access to it today. And I'm going to give you our financial workshop, the 5 hours from Saturday. And I'll give you a free VIP ticket to our upcoming workshop. And I'm going to schedule today. If somebody calls today, we'll schedule your first one-on-one business coaching session so that we can sit down, figure out what you want to accomplish in your business and finances for the next year. We're going to put together a game plan for what you need to do, how you need to structure your company or your organization or your enterprise. We're going to figure out what types of ideas that you have that we can convert into products and services. And then once we put that game plan together, we're going to see what systems, what processes, what other structures, or even people that you need as resources to undergird that game plan. And then we're going to ignite it, activate it, and hit go, and we're going to move forward to get you to where you know you want to be. And throughout the course of this 1 year, we're going to make sure that if there are things that come up that need to be added, subtracted, divided, removed, whatever, modified, reset, we do that throughout the course of this 1 year. And you're going to be a part of a big community of like-minded people. Most of the people in our business coaching program are headed towards seeing their first 6-figure year. Most of them. A few of them have already seen it, but we want to make sure that everybody at least has an opportunity to pursue it. So we love y'all. We appreciate y'all. Look forward to speaking with any of you today if you reach out to us. And we will see you tomorrow right here on the Ramon Preston Show.